Emergency Management Agency blames the collapse of the Twin Towers on the subsequent fire. The House Science Committee held a hearing today focusing on the results of an investigation by FEMA and American Society of Civil Engineers. The report shows intense heat from the fire brought down Towers 1 and 2.
Tommy, have you made it back down to the lobby yet? The elevator's screwed up. You can't move it? I don't want to get stuck in this shaft. Tommy, it's imperative that you try to get down to the lobby command post. We got injured people up here on 70. If you make it to the lobby command post, see if they can somehow get elevators past the 40th floor. We got people injured all the way up here. 1-5, Battalion 7. What floor you on, Oreo? We got tons isolated pockets of fire. We should be able to knock it down with 2 lines. We got rain go down. 78th floor, numerous 1045 car horns. What floor are you in, Oreo? South Tower. South Tower. 478. South Tower, Steve, South Tower. Tower. I'm going to need 2 of your firefighters. Adam, stay away to knock down 2 fires. We can hit some water on it, knock it down, okay? All right, 10-4, we're coming up with 10.
As it turned out, we had no usable elevators.
With the elevators out, there was only one way to get up there. Walk.
The tube design was an innovative concept, but in practice, the elevators required would have taken up too much space. Seeking a solution, designers divided each tower into 3 parts, or zones, each with its own sky lobby. People would be able to get to work by taking an express and then a local elevator.
People readily accepted it because the truth was that this system, even though it involved 2 rides, the express ride and the local ride, actually saved time and resulted in a shorter wait.
In the middle of all this, suddenly an elevator opens up. And you see people not having a clue of what's going on, because they've been stuck in there since the first plane hits.
Coffee in the World Trade Center when the first plane struck.
And all of a sudden it sounded like, I don't know where the subway is, but it sounded like a subway collision, a bomb, and it was just pounding, boom, 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 and I literally thought the subway had exploded and all the cars were supposed to land on top of us. It was so loud.
And
I was standing next to One World Trade Center, and then all of a sudden I heard rumbling, and we all started running away from it. The glass like blew out and threw me onto the sidewalk, and I couldn't see for like 20 seconds.
Bottom elevator, the glass just flames exploded out the front of the World Trade Center. Glass flew everywhere.
Yes, I was right there. I was down in the basement. Came down. All of a sudden, the elevator blew up. Smoke. I dragged the guy out. His skin was hanging off, and I dragged him out and I helped him out of to the ambulance.
Pfeiffer was the first chief into the building. Right away over there. Is Leibintz Fischhof Pfeiffer was the first chief into the building. Right away, a guy from the Port Authority told him the damage was somewhere above the 78th floor. But all you had to do was look around. It was obvious. Something had happened right there in the lobby. They'd figure out that flaming jet fuel had shot straight down the elevator shaft.
That's good.
Was the case now, but I do know that one of the towers had a major elevator that went all the way to the top that was malfunctioning and has been malfunctioning for at least a month. They've been having a lot of trouble with that. Not that that would have made any kind of difference.
Sure. Now you were manning what, a freight elevator?
I was running 58 car at the elevator that go from B6 to 108th floor.
Where were you when it happened?
Well, I was on my way from B2 to 49th floor, and as I took off, it was a matter of seconds, 5, 6, 7 seconds, I don't know, and there was a loud explosion and the elevator dropped. And when the elevator dropped, was a lot of debris and cables falling on top of the elevator, and I put my hand over my head and I said, oh God, I'm going to die. But I didn't know what was happening. When the elevator finally stopped, they had an explosion that bring the doors inside the elevator. And I'm sure that was broke my leg. And then they had another explosion on the panel that threw me, against the wall. And I guess I was unconscious for a couple of minutes because somebody else was in the elevator with me. And they say that they was trying to get my attention and they didn't get no response from me.
I have it in a cast now, but so far it's been good. Thank God. I walked in here, it felt like a whole truck fell on me.
I can imagine. Can you just describe, where you ended up when you finally came to a rest, I guess, after this incredible ordeal? Just describe your surroundings. What were you seeing?
Well, like I said, I got on the 50 car, which is the freight elevator. I was going to do a job on the 46th floor, and the elevator operator closed the door. It was just me and him in the elevator. All of a sudden, I heard that explosion, and the doors blew, and the elevator dropped, and there was smoke, fire, water all over the place, debris, concrete, you name it, just fell on top of us.
How far did the elevator drop?
I can't really tell you, but I was caught in between the floors, and I was lucky, and there were some other guys, co-workers, like Artie says, there's all workers down on the B levels, and they just pulled me out, and they laid me on the floor.
At 8:30, he says he was headed to level B4 in Tower 1, 4 stories below ground.
I go downstairs, the foreman tells me to go to remove the containers. As I'm walking by the main freight car of the building, in the corridor, that's when I got blown. I mean, the impact of the explosion, of whatever happened, it threw me to the floor, and that's when everything started happening. You don't know what happened, and all of a sudden you just felt the floor moving, and you get up, and the walls. And then, now I'm hearing that the main freight car, the elevators, fell down. So I was right near the main freight car, so I assumed what that was. Then, you heard that coming towards you. I was racing. I was going towards the bathroom. All of a sudden, I opened the door. I didn't know it was a bathroom, and all of a sudden, a big impact happened again. And all the ceiling tile was falling down. The light fixtures were falling, swinging out of the ceiling. And I come running out the door, and everything, the walls were down, and now I started running towards the parking lots. It blew me going into the doors of the parking lot. Then all of a sudden the heat, and it just came blowing through, and the heat that you felt was so terrible, and the explosion that happened, it was knocking down the walls, the ceilings were falling, the block walls were caving in, steel doors just looked like paper. There was a lot of smoke down there. There was a lot of people screaming. People came with us running up the ramps. We wanted to get help for the people that couldn't move down there. And as we were running up the ramps, and, you know, it's not like a regular mortar. You're going straight up. You have to go, you know, you got to go clear across the whole from 1 to 2 World Trade Center. You know what I mean? That's the way you got to run. And then all of a sudden, it happened all over again. Building 2 got hit. All of a sudden, here we go again. Building 2 gets hit. I couldn't get into Building 2. If the doors, nothing would open. Nothing would open. It just felt like something like compressed all the. It was strange. It was just you couldn't even push doors. We're running up the ramps and things elevate. You hear elevators coming screeching. It's like a missile coming towards you. When you hear a 10,000-pound, 20,000, 40,000-pound elevator coming down a shaft. Now, I don't know what that is. I just think now you're getting invaded. You're just being invaded. Everything's just coming at you. The world is coming to an end. I mean, I know of people that got killed in the basement. I know of people that got broken legs in the basement. People that got reconstructive surgery because the walls hit them in the face. And
I was in the B4 level. I was assigned to the B3 level. But I had to do something in the B4 sheet metal shop. So I went in the sheet metal shop, do what I had to do, and on my way, I heard a bomb. So I says, probably the transformer again blew up. So I stepped back, finished what I had to finish, and I started towards the door again. And there come a big blast with a big ball of fire. And that's when I got hit. It hit me right back down on the ground, and I realized that my ankle was shattered.
I worked down on B1 in the World Trade Center. What happened? And the whole place just filled up with smoke. I popped our ears. We couldn't hear anything down there. Now I was told the 737 jet hit the building all the way up. The flames are still coming out of the Trade Center on the top.
Like a pass, small private jet. I was out here. I was out here. I heard 2 explosions. What the lights? Did a plane hit that? Plane. I heard 2 explosions. 2 separate ones.
Ginny Carr was attending a business meeting on the 36th floor of One Liberty Plaza, across the street from the World Trade Center, and caught the entire first attack on tape. A second explosion can be heard 9 seconds after the crash.
It sounds like something crashed.
Ladies that are with me were in the World Trade Center in the first building and escaped through the lobby, where they report they believe there was a bomb in the lobby.
We ran down the steps to the lobby. There was no lobby. Everything was torn up. And even the turnstile was burnt and was sticking up, and they just told us to run.
My boss ran out of the office. He said one thing, run. Everybody just ran, and we ran down the stairs. They told us to come back up the stairs, and we were like, come back up the stairs, are you crazy? So we continued down the stairs. We came outside in the lobby. There was no lobby. The lobby was totally gone.
Did you see other people?
People. There was a woman there with her face blown off. And as we were coming out, we passed the lobby. There was no lobby. So I believe the bomb hit the lobby first, and a couple of seconds then the first plane hit.
What happened, Lasana?
I heard the explosion sound. And
So you heard the sound?
Yeah, I heard the explosion sound, like boom, boom, like that. And we kind of stopped and then asked, what's going on? And, you know, no one answered anything as yet. The smoke coming out from the elevator, not the passenger elevators, the freight elevators. So we start turning back and then say, let's go. So I ran, you know, very fast out of the building from the west side.
You're safe, you figure, right?
Yeah, I figure that I can manage it, you know. I ran very quick outside the building, and I was very unlucky because probably it's in very early. So I fell down after 10 feet out of the building on the west side. Yeah, and just lying down there, just few seconds, I feel like a heat swept through my back and my skirt. I feel like very, very hot, heat swept through like that. I kind of turned my face to the side, and I see the kind of sandstorm and the wildfire coming out from the building like huge.
Came out from the main floor of the building?
Yeah, came out from the west gate of the building. And with that, I saw girls and many others who usually smoke in the morning before they're going out to work, blew away with that fire on their back and their hair.
So what happened in the North Tower? Ask Willie Rodriguez. Willie, a janitor who worked in the World Trade Center for 20 years, was in sub-level 1 when the North Tower was hit.
And all of a sudden we hear boom! I thought it was a generator that blew up on the basement. And I said to myself, oh my God, I think it's a generator. And I was going to verbalize it. When I finished saying that in my mind, I hear boom! Right on the top, pretty far away. So it was a difference between coming from the basement and coming from the top. And that's, everybody started screaming. And a person comes running into the office saying, explosion, explosion, explosion. He got his hand extended, and all the skin was pulled from his under his arm, all the way to the top of the fingertips, and it was hanging on both arms. I said, what happened? What happened? And he said, the elevators, the elevators.
I think a bomb went off in the lobby first, then a plane hit the building. But then another plane hit the other building. But when I was coming through the doors on the other side of the Trade Center, something, either they blew the lobby up or something, because it blew the glass out of the doors and knocked us all down.
In the World Trade Center lobby, while our officer reported in at the fire command station. At this point, other units were pulling up, and many firemen were entering the building. A lot of piles of debris, and I remember I looked up to the ceiling because I thought maybe the ceiling, part of the ceiling had collapsed. There was a lot of debris there, but the ceiling was intact. It turned out it was a bunch of bodies, a bunch of burnt bodies. People just, I guess, got incinerated in the elevator, and when the elevator doors opened, they fell right there. I remember some of the elevator car, I seen the elevator car was twisted in the shaft. Some of the hoistway doors were missing. And we had to climb up over and around this pile.
After dinner, as we walked outside, he pointed in the direction of the World Trade Center and said, "Those towers are coming down."
Obama described the design of planned attacks on buildings inside the U.S. and how operatives were directed to carry them out. That is valuable information for those of us who have the responsibility to protect the American people. He told us the operatives had been instructed to ensure that the explosives went off at a point that was high enough to prevent people trapped above from escaping.
A firefighter in full gear, carrying 60-something pounds of hose and equipment. Takes about a minute to climb one flight of stairs. These guys were looking at 80 stories just to get there.